crisis, you can say, in 1986, Chernobyl and then the Japan. So nuclear energy do constitute a important source of energy, and it will remain. But even if you take the jazz scenario and the symphony scenario of the World Energy Council, you can say, not much change is being taken care of. But this transition can be automatic, but this transition is essential in keeping in view the climate change problem, you can say, the warming up. So that is why the governments, the NGOs, the, you can say, private sector that come into the picture and try to solve the energy problems. Theoretically, if you go into the details and the data are available, the energy requirements of the growing world can be met. But the big question is the investment, infrastructure, technology, and all that. And these are very big issues, very complicated issues, cannot be summed up in one lecture. Then the other thing is regarding the academic cooperation and the suggestions which you are giving regarding the property rights and all that, and the establishment of the NTB and etc. So here, let me tell you one thing, one biggest achievement of IORA Secretariat is that in the last 18 years, despite of financial constraint, we have been able to work in accordance to the wishes of the member state. So if you, the academician, give us the suggestions, everything, whatever you are suggesting, we propose to set up under IORA. But IORA basically is a membership-driven country, organization. And the membership is increasing. We are 20, we are going to be 22, and there is the demand for that the hunter land should also be included. But that depends, you can say, how the national governments strengthen IORA, you can say. I'm happy that you are concerned about the constraint of IORA. You strengthen it, and we will be coming up to your expectation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Saman?
Yes, thank you. I'll take Dr. Gupta's question first. Yes, I'm the one who said this sharing of the ocean waters does not really provide a rationale in the modern day world for regional cooperation. So in that context, I think you agreed with that, but then whether we could bring about the trade culture interface and then work on it. I'm not sure whether that will really work, because now if you look at this Chinese attempt to revive the maritime silk route, that's going nowhere. And even if you look at the so-called cotton route or spice route that we speak about, whether that type of thing will work in the modern day world in the context of trade promotion, I have my doubts. Perhaps we can, one-to-one discuss this in detail. The second question in regard to the non-regional actors. Yes, here again, now as was mentioned by Professor Atri, there are observers in the IORA. Countries like China, USA, etc. are IORA observers, and these may be the non-state actors that you had in mind. As was highlighted yesterday in Dennis Ramley's presentation, there is still no coherent security cooperation umbrella in the IORA. So in that context, how this involvement of extra-regional powers has to be carefully looked at, because as was highlighted yesterday by one speaker, I think it was Rama Mohan, who said that India's trade will be 1 trillion in a few years' time, and 90% of that 1 trillion moves through the Indian Ocean. So likewise, for some extra-regional powers like China, their trade would also be moving through oceans, and Indian Ocean may be one of them. So in that context, this usage of the Indian Ocean by extra-regional powers and other type of activities they engage in is a crucial issue that has to be addressed in the context of overall security in the region. Final question about the IORA Secretariat needs to be strengthened. I fully agree. You need a strong secretariat to drive the association in between summits or ministerial meetings, because you see there is a lot of enthusiasm generated during the ministerials or the summits, but thereafter it tapers away, and the association remains dormant for some time if you, until the next summit or the ministerial, if there is no strong secretariat to drive the association. So in that context, the Mauritius Secretariat of the Indian Ocean, IORA, should be strengthened with more powers. Secretary General should be have some ministerial ranking, like the ASEAN Secretariat. We should look at alternative models and accordingly revive the Secretariat. Thank you.
I will take up the question of Dr. Sunil Gupta first. It's true that culture and trade are two integral parts, and that is the part which we have to explore, that how we are linked to the rest of the region in the past, and what lessons we can learn from that. And the issue is that how to take it forward. I think that's how we have to link cultural issues with the trade in the present context. The second issue I would like to take up about the infrastructure. Yes, we have discussed a lot that in this grouping, we have to focus more on sectoral issues. And if we are focusing on sectoral issues, I think the reduction of transaction cost is a very important aspect. And for that, we have to have seamless connectivity within the region. And therefore, in a recent study in RIS, we have tried to show that I think this is possible, but that requires huge investment, and the region can really take it off in future, and a framework is given for that. And I would like to focus on the other issue about weak institutions. Yes, at present, the institutional mechanism within the IOR is very weak. But on the other hand, we can see that the region is flourishing, macroeconomic parameters are very strong, trade linkages are strong, investment flows are both two ways. So when we see that there are ample of scope that the region will grow fast in the coming years, I think we will gear up to build new institutions in future. Thank you.
Now, all time for the chair. So, I won't take more than 1 minute, just to quickly bring out the key points that are there. Friends and colleagues, I think I had very accomplished panel, but this is not an ordinary conference. This conference is continuation of our idea of bringing all different facets of Indian Ocean's engagement, trade, investment, and yesterday we discussed history and culture. So this is not an isolation that we are discussing trade and investment and issues related to energy security or non-tariff barriers. They all are integrated. So how to evolve a comprehensive view for engagement of the countries around Indian Ocean. So history and culture that way are integral part of we understanding our trade linkages. So idea is not to pose cotton route vis-a-vis silk, and in fact today over breakfast I was sitting with some of very accomplished historians, and they told me that the phrase silk route is just of 18th century origin. So it's not something that we are talking of last several centuries. Though silk was traded as a commodity, but cotton is the one which connects masses. And that's the sweep we are looking for when we talk of cotton route or connectivity through cotton route. So I think we need to appreciate that vision which comes out from cotton. What are the contemporary lessons we can derive out of it? Of course, we would discuss it in the parallel sessions that we would have, and over next couple of months, we are planning at RIS, I was discussing with Dr. Mohanty, couple of small one-day workshops across next 1 year to carry forward this agenda. But I think this panel has raised some very fundamental issues. And I have some 7 issues which I have identified, which I think would be useful for the rapporteurs and also for those who are working on the declaration, Bhubaneswar declaration that we would adopt at the validity session. Number 1, definitely, is in terms of how we see IORA region in light of the mega FTAs which are coming across. There was little reference to issues related to TPP, but then definitely many of these members of IORA are also members of G20. So invariably they are contributing and are part of the global governance architecture that we are talking of. So how do we fit in within that mega FTA? Reference was made to APEC. How are we going towards APEC, and in what way we look at the mega FTAs? I think that's extremely important. Both Professor Mohanty and Saman raised this issue of origin of IORA, the quantum that was there, and how we have reached at the figure of 29.1% as part of intra-regional trade of IORA is extremely important. We have due lessons to learn from NAFTA, EU, and ASEAN, but then the issue really is how we can address questions related to FDI. Just last week, Indian Finance Minister, while making a statement in the Parliament, said that in 1991 to 2014, the total FDI that came into India, 42% of that was from Mauritius alone. And those of us who are following it know very well what's happening. So I think we need to bring in more accountability there. The issues related to climate change have also figured in this panel. And I think our Prime Minister was very right when he was in Indian Ocean last week when he said that there are some people who are talking about climate change, but there are some people who are really experiencing it and are at the face of really facing the consequences of it. So how we can bring in some sort of discussion on that. Professor Mohanty also mentioned about parts and component. The 4th point is in terms of what someone again raised about open regionalism. This is in light of what we heard from Dr. Kondekar about non-tariff barriers. Because with open regionalism, the accountability, and as someone very rightly said, spatial and differential treatments to the LDCs are not available. So can we really inch towards a sort of framework where members are accountable? Leave aside Australia, but others are not at very different stages of their economic development. The 5th point is in terms of what Dr. Purushottam mentioned about science, technology, and support for MSME, the small and medium enterprises. How science and technology can really strengthen. And I'm sure in the session on blue economy, this would come up as a major issue. Again, as part of that, Dr. Purushottam mentioned towards the end in terms of joint committee on science technology. I think that's very important. There would be a presentation by Dr. Rath on hydrocarbons, where he's going to talk about in the parallel session about how hydrocarbon storage technology can be shared by countries. And that takes us to Professor Atri's point in terms of the processes that are involved in terms of switching over to sustainable and renewable energy sources. So these are the 7 points that I think are extremely important, which have emerged from this session. We could finish in time. I'm thankful to my panel and for the floor for very active participation. Thanks a lot. We have now tea break. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and the panelists. Now, I would like to invite Commodore Ajay Patnaik, Member Reception Committee, to present memento to the Chair. Now, tea coffee would be served at the Crystal Room at the ground floor, and the next parallel sessions will start at 11. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Hello, 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 check, hello, 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 check, hello, hello, check, hello, 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 hello.